Hello, dear friend, dear viewers, dear followers of this Patera TV. This TV is your platform which will help you to learn the various lessons about businesses. So, it is your platform which will give you the some knowledge and skills which will help you to pass some various knowledge. Dear friend, dear viewers, I'm your partner. I'm called Benone. So, today I'm going to give you the suggestion answer for the hospital accountant position. Dear friend, dear followers of this Patera TV, I would like to beg you to subscribe, to like, to comment on these videos. So friends, the videos related to this question number 2 and this question number 1, this is the question. The videos was already uploaded to our platform Patera TV. I recommend you to go there and watch those videos in order to get more skills and knowledge, and we help you to understand this suggestion answer I'm going to give to you of this question number 3. Friends, we are going starting by reading our question number 3. One of your key duties and attribution as accountant is preparing periodic cash flows plans, fund request, and coordinate payment for goods and services delivered by operators to the hospital. Hence, the following information will help you to prepare the cash flow plans for the coming quarter, the quarter starting April and ending June 2019, as it is required by the district to its all hospitals. First, a monthly expected cash from the district will be 1% monthly increment to 150 million cash to be received in March 2019. Monthly expected cash payments will be monthly salaries and wages will be 120 million. Monthly supplies will be equal to 10,500,000, and monthly utilities will be 35,100 francs, and the monthly body sitting allowances for 10 members will be 500,000. Even the examiner said that the per member will be 150,000. Expected office equipment acquisition in May 2019 will be 20,300,000, and in June will be 20,100,000 francs. The maintenance cost in April 2019 will be equal to 43,100,000 francs, and in May will be 15,100,000 francs, and in June will be 17,100,000 francs. Additional information: whenever an increment or decrement is planned, each month serves as the base for the computation for its next one. March 31st, 2019, expected cash balance is equal to 105,600,000. The company operating on a district territories, Lucky Limited, has pledged to contribute 10% of its expected margin of surfeit to hospitals operating activities, and its projected information shared with the hospital are flows. 1. Unit sales price will be equal to 110,000. Unit variable expenses equal to 108,000. Monthly fixed expenses will be equal to 900,000 francs. 2. Expected April to June 2019 sales unit in March is equal to 1,060, and for April will be equal to 1,500, and for the May will be 2,200, and for the June 2019 will be equal to 1,700. So 3. Monthly pledged amount will be deposited on the hospital's bank account in 2 instruments: 60% in the last week of the concerned month, and the remaining balance in the first week of the following month. The 155 million is recommended as the cash minimum at the end of each month for the hospital contingencies. Any expected cash deficiencies and excess below to minimum required with respect to this hospital's budget will be sponsored by the Global Fund as agreed by the both parties. Required. Produce a monthly and quarterly cash flow plan for the hospital. Dear friend, dear viewers of this particular TV, we are going to show you the suggested answer for this question. Friends of this particular TV, this is the cash flow plan or the cash flow budget for the hospital prepared depends on the information provided on that question. So the cash flow plan mainly is composed or is made by 4 parties. So friends, we have the parties of receipt, we have the parties of the beginning balance, and we have the parties of payment, and we have the parties of the investing or financing. This global fund, this part D, is the party which you can call the investing or the financing. Friends, if we prepare the cash flow plan and you see you have the surplus when you take the total cash available plus when you take the total cash available minus the total cash needed, and you see you have the surplus, those surplus may be invested. But if you take the total cash available minus you take this total cash available and minus this total cash needed, but see this total cash needed, you will and you obtain the deficit, the amount which is shortage is obtained by financing. So in our question, the financing, the source of a fund for the deficit will flow to the global fund. So dear friend, we are going to show you how we calculate those 4 parties. So as the examiner stated, for this beginning the balance, the closing balance for the March is the 5,600,000. That is become the opening balance for the apples. So we are going to show you how we computed this amount of receipt in order to get the total cash availables. So in our part of receipt, we have cash from district, and we have the lucky contribution. So dear friend, you see that in April the cash flow from the district is for April is 50,500,000. This amount is obtained in this way. This is the working number one, which show us how we calculated the expected cash flow from the district. So for April, we take the amount which is the receipt for the March, which was the 50 million, and we add up the 1% of those amount, and we get those 50,500,000. Remember, in our question, the examiner stated that the amount, the receipt for the previous month will be the base for the next one. That's why this amount, the receipt for April will be the base to calculate the receipt for the May. So in our cash flow plan, we see that for the May, the receipt was the 51,005,000. I'm also going to show you how this amount was obtained. When we see for our workings, we take the amount received in April as the base, which is 50,500,000 plus 1% of 50,500,000 as the question stated, and we get the 51 million 5,000. Dear friend, dear brothers, the calculation for the amount of June is also, the process is the same for the calculation for the May, and in the quarter we add this amount for April and amount for May and amount for June, and we get the expected cash flow from the district for 3 months or for the quarters. So we are going to show you how we calculate the lucky contribution. We see that the lucky contribution for the April equals to 874,000, and for the May equal to 1,470,000, and for June equal to 1,450,000. And for the quarter, we add up this receipt of 3 months, which will give us the 3,794,000. So I'm going to show you how we computed those amount. Dear friend, dear followers, as the question stated, they have given the sum information which help us to search those expected margin of surface of Lucky Limited in order to obtain the contribution which will give or which will deposit to the hospital account. So as you see, the contribution per unit will be 2,000, which means we take the variable, we take the sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit, and the contribution margin ratio, which is equal to contribution per unit over sales per unit, will be equal to 20% or 0.2. So the break-even point in sales is equal to fixed cost over contribution margin ratios. That's why we take the fixed cost is 900,000 over 20%, and we get the break-even point in sales, which is equal to 4,500,000. Dear friend, dear followers, we have seen the break-even point in sales. So means that the break-even point in March is equal to 4,500,000, and in April and May and June is the same. So we are going to look for those months which composed by our quarter. Our quarter is composed by April month, May month, and June month. So this is the margin, this is the break-even point. So we are going to search for the actual actual sales. So for the March, this for actual sales. This for actual sales. We take the unit for that month. We take a unit for that month and multiply by the sales per unit. This is for the March. This is actual sales. Actual sales for the actual sales for the April, which is 15 million. For the May, actual sales will be 22 million, and for the June, actual sales will be 17 million. And for the quarter, we add up those actual sales of the actual sales of the free months, and we get 54 million. Dear friend, we are going to search the margin of Safety. Here, this is the margin of Safety. This is the margin of Safety. The margin of Safety for May is 60 million 100,000, and for the April is this. For the June, for the May is this, and for the June is this. And for the quarter is this. Remember, dear friend, the margin of safety equal to actual sales minus break-even point. This is a break-even point. Break-even point. So when we take actual sales minus the break-even point, we get the margin of safety. So in our question stating that the contribution will be the 10% of the margin of safety. This is the contribution. Contribution for the March, 10% of 60 million 100,000 is 610,000, and for the April is this. For the April is this, which is 10% of margin of safety, and this is the 10% of the margin of safety of May, and this is for the quarter. We add up this for 3 months. So in order to know the contribution which is deposited on the month, the examiner stating that the 60% of the contribution will be deposited in the hospital account in the last week of the concerned month. Means that it will be deposited on the hospital account on that month, and the remaining which is 40% will be deposited in the next or the following month. This means that we have the contribution from the March. So the contribution from the March, the 60% of the contribution from the March was deposited on the hospital account in the March, while the 40% of this contribution was deposited on April. So the contribution of April, 60%. This is 60% of the 60% of the contribution of apple was deposited on the account of the hospital in April, and the 40%, the remaining, as the examiner stating, the remaining 40% of Apple was deposited in May. So in May, so the 60% of the May was deposited in the May. The 60% of the contribution which the Lucky Limited is supposed to deposit on the hospital account is deposited on the May, and 40% will be deposited in the June. Dear friend, this is the process to calculate the contribution made by the Lucky Limited to the hospital account. That's why in April we get this contribution, and in May you get this contribution, and in June you get this contribution, and for the quarter we add up this contribution. What is contribution? Dear friend, dear followers, this is how we see the contribution from the Lucky Limited. So this is the party of the receipt which is completed. So we have going to see the total cash available. We add up this. So we have going to see the payment. For the payment, the salary and the wages in the question was given for April, May as the monthly, and we add up for the quarter. The supplies, utilities, board sitting also was given to us as monthly. Acquisition, equipment acquisition for April is need, and for May is this, and for June is this. Maintenance was given is this. So total payment, we add up this total payment. So the minimum cash balance, as the examiner stated, is 5 million, and the total cash needed, we need to pay this total payment, and we remain this amount. Means that the total cash needed will be the total payment plus the minimum cash balance needed. So as we compare the total cash needed with the total cash available, we see that we miss or we lack some fund. The examiner stated that those means we take the total cash available minus the total cash available minus the total cash needed. So and we see we have the deficit. Those deficit, the examiner stated that will be financed by the global fund. So the global fund will give to the hospital this amount. So we are going to search the closing balance. So the closing balance, we take the total cash available plus the amount from the global fund or from the financing, and minus the total payment, which will give us the 5 million as the examiner stated in the question. This will become the opening balance of May, and the process is the same for the other maps. Dear friend, dear followers of this Patella TV, we continue to give you some knowledge about business lessons, about some exam asked in various institutions. I recommend you to make subscribe, comment, like, stay in touch. God bless you.